The Mario Evil Rumor mod just dropped, and it has some interesting characters that a lot of people may not know about. And fun fact, some of these characters were supposed to be in the Mario Madness mod, but they ended up being scrapped. Now, in usual boyfriend fashion, it looks like he ends up getting sucked into the virtual world and is forced to battle against a bunch of creepy characters from different Mario creepypastas and just obscure Mario media in general. The first character that I want to look at is called the Plumber, and some of you may actually remember the game that he's from, which is called Kill the Plumber. I think Jacksepticeye played it like 8 years ago, and it was basically a parody of the classic Super Mario Bros. So instead of the plumber here actually trying to save the Mushroom Kingdom, he's trying to destroy it. And the game has an interesting twist where you get to play as the monsters instead of getting to play as the protagonist, or aka this bootleg Mario. The next character is called Hangman Mario, and this guy is interesting because you can't find a lot about him on the internet anymore, but apparently he's from a game called Guess That Super Mario Character, and even though you can't really play the original game anymore, there are still different iterations of it online. And while this one isn't connected to any type of creepypasta or horror game, people did find this Mario kind of scary because he seemed to be pointing at this noose in a little advertisement that he was from. And when you really think about it, Hangman is a pretty crazy game to play anyway, although it probably isn't as popular in your guys' generation as it was in mine when I was a kid. The next character is called Mr. Virtual, and I've actually covered this one before, so I'm going to put a clip about him here. So basically, back in the day, Mr. Virtual used to be a circus performer that went by the name V, and he lived a awful life where he was constantly miserable until one day he snaps, basically burning down the entire circus and watching all the people that he worked with burn. But instead of feeling guilt or shame with hearing all the screaming and crying, V felt nothing but joy. And this is when he found his new calling, which was to become a serial killer, where he would basically mutilate his victims and leave a V carved into their chest. Eventually, his killing spree caught the attention of a detective by the name of Thomas Anderson, who basically spent months hunting V down until he caught up with him at a 1995 E3 event. And at that event, Anderson actually ended up shooting V in the back of the head in a Nintendo booth that was showcasing the new Virtual Boy system. And this is apparently how the soul of V was bound to the Virtual Boy in death, transforming him into the creature that we see in the mod. Months after his death, a woman named Samantha Heathers found the cursed Virtual Boy that V was inside of. And when she used the system, it started out fine, but soon V learned that he could stalk her inside the virtual world, terrorizing her for months and just making her experience nightmares and night terrors even when she wasn't in the game. Eventually, he ended her suffering and killed her, and learned that he could possess the body of his victims and come into the material plane until the body rots away, which would happen in a matter of days, and then he would automatically be sent back to the cursed system. And with this new knowledge, V made it his mission to somehow get the Virtual Boy into the hands of Anderson, or get a person close enough to Anderson where he can consume their body and try to kill him before the body rots away. All because, of course, he wanted to get revenge against the man that killed him. After that, we have a character called Rampage Mario, and he is from an old Flash game called Super Mario Rampage. And in the game, Mario basically got sick of playing fair and just grabbed a shotgun and started mowing through the entire Mushroom Kingdom. Next, we have Infection Mario, and he was created by Mr. Pixel in a game called the Super Mario Infection. And even though I think it got canceled, it actually had a pretty cool premise to it. So basically, a bunch of poison mushrooms started to grow up around the Mushroom Kingdom, and once people would consume them, they would actually have their minds taken over by the mushroom. And as you can probably guess, the mushrooms acted as parasites and even started to grow out of the infected person's body. This is why in the image we can see mushrooms growing out of Mario's back and even out of his mouth. I really wish that this one would have been fully fleshed out, because this would have made a really cool story. And especially with like Infection AUs getting popular over the last couple of years, I think this one would have definitely been like one of the top ones if it would have actually come to fruition. The next character in the mod is called L is Real, and this character is based on a urban legend surrounding Super Mario 64. Many people believe that players could unlock Luigi as a playable character in the game. There is a plaque on a statue in the game, and people believe that the writing on the plaque said L is Real 2401. But the writing is so blurry that it's actually really hard to decipher what it says. Now, hardcore fans, however, believe that this meant that Luigi was an Easter egg in the game. And this all came to a head in 2020 when Nintendo Giga Leak revealed a ton of new information, the most important being a sprite for Luigi in the game. Now, the FNF mod is based on a darker theory, and that is that Luigi is in the game, but he's actually in the fountain where the plaque with the writing resides. And he's basically tangled in some vines and unable to escape. And since this is a digital world, he's forced to keep drowning and then coming back to life until he can either escape the vines or someone helps him get out. It reminds me a lot of Sync Sonic from a couple of years ago. And a fun fact about this song is that it's called Thalassophobia, which is the fear of deep water. Put in the comments if you have that fear. I know I do. I couldn't even play Subnautica when it came out way back in the day. After that, we have two unused characters from different Mario games. The first one is called Trampoline Stew. He was supposed to be used in a game called Super Mario Sunshine, but it ended up being scrapped. But apparently people can still find like assets of him in the game. And while he does look kind of creepy, there's not actually any like creepy lore that goes with him. Next up on our list is a character called ELH, and it's supposed to be a unused beta model for Luigi's Mansion. Specifically, he is like a early version of the character called the Bogmire. Next on our list is I Hate You Luigi, and this character is actually from a creepypasta called I Hate You that was later turned into a ROM by a creator by the name of Slime Beast. This version of Luigi basically started to become jealous of the fact that Mario always got the limelight, and in order to elevate himself, Luigi joined forces with Bowser in order to kill his brother. In the actual ROM, we can see Mario and Luigi end up fighting on a bridge that is above a pit of lava. In the original story, Mario ends up knocking Luigi into the lava, burning him alive, and at the end of the ROM, we see Luigi looking like a burned zombie. A fun fact about the I Hate You creepypasta is that it was originally made to make fun of other creepypastas that overuse cheesy tropes, but it somehow became crazy popular, and funny enough, the ROM hack became even more popular than that, to the point where people have forgotten that it started out as an actual creepypasta. Next character is called Wario Apparition, and the Wario Apparition is a floating ghost-like version of Wario's head. It initially appeared during the Nintendo's Focus on Fun segment in E3 back in 1995 as a way to get people ready for Nintendo's main presentation.
Ah, this is terrible. Boy, who would buy stuff like this anyway? Oh, what? You think this is fun? You gotta be cuckoo crazy. You want fun? Wario show you fun. Isn't that great, huh? So you like that, eh? Oh, watch this. This is even better.
Later, it was made popular by the Mario 64 horror community due to a creepypasta based on the theory that every copy of the original Super Mario 64 is personalized. And people believe that there was a cursed beta version of the game from back in 1995. And a lot of people say that the Wario Apparition actually materialized in Mario 64 out of people's desire to see Wario in the game. And anyone who sees the apparition basically has a mental breakdown. Now, obviously that never happened in real life, but just like any fandoms, you're always going to have people who make up weird type of headcanons. Now, another reference that I find interesting about this version of Wario Apparition is that it's based on the Super Mario Land 2 commercial, where Wario is basically trying to hypnotize the audience into taking Mario out for him, really.
Obey me, Wario. I am your master. Mario is your enemy.
The wicked imposter Wario has cast Mario Land.
Don't let Mario get the 6 golden coins. Don't let Mario reach the top.
The next character on our list is going to be Ink Bowser, and as the name implies, this is just Bowser, but he's made out of ink. And while that doesn't sound terribly dangerous, for whatever reason, this version of Bowser is on killing time. When actually playing through the game, we see that he cuts the bridge here and makes Mario watch as Princess Peach falls. And that's not to say that Bowser has never done any crazy stuff in a day, but very seldom do you see him do something just straight up wicked like that. To make matters worse, he also has a ink machine, which you actually see in the background of the mod here, and his goal is to turn everybody and everything in the Mushroom Kingdom into like a ink beast. So think of it kind of like Bendy and the Ink Machine, but at a larger scale, way larger. Even though there's not a whole lot of lore about this character, I think he is a very cool idea, and he even has his own game on Game Jolt, which I think is just called Ink Bowser if you have a few minutes and you want to check it out. The last character on our list is going to be Bob, and he is the protagonist from the game called Bob's World, and it's basically just like a knockoff Mario. It plays exactly the same, the character almost looks the same, like I'm sure some people probably mistaken him for Luigi at one point or another. But unfortunately, he isn't attached to any type of creepypasta or any type of urban legend or anything. He's just a little rip-off Mario. But with that being said, if you enjoyed this video, check out this video on the screen here, subscribe to Diddy become a member of the Oris Force, and we'll see you tomorrow with another video. Peace.